Has your Medicare Supplement Plan premium increased lately? Well, you're not alone. We've been seeing some massive rate increases across the country. And for those living on a fixed income, it's definitely putting on some financial pressure. So in today's video, we'll talk about why these rate increases are happening, who they're affecting the most, and most importantly, what you can do about it. So whether you're on Plan G or Plan N or still hanging on to Plan F, let's get into it. So let's start with the obvious question. Why are Medicare Supplement Plan premiums increasing? Well, here are a few key reasons. First, medical costs are rising across the board. Everything from hospital stays to outpatient services to durable medical equipment is more expensive than it was even a year ago. And guess what? Those costs get passed on to your insurance company, which in turn get passed on to you. Also, people are just living longer. We're seeing a wave of aging policyholders. Most Medicare supplement plans are community rated or attained age rated. That means the older the group gets, the more they cost to insure. So if you're in a plan that has a lot of older members and not as many younger, healthier members, then your rates are going to increase more quickly. And finally, in some places, people just aren't as enrolling as much. For example, Plan F is no longer available to new Medicare enrollees as of 2020. The risk pool is aging fast, and that's causing major premium increases in many areas. So let's talk about who's seeing the biggest rate increases. If you're enrolled in Plan F, you've probably had it for several years, but you're probably now noticing rate increases in 10%, 12%, or even 20% in some states. Now, Plan G isn't immune either, and people are seeing an average of 5 to 10% rate hikes in most areas. Then, of course, there's Plan N. We talk a lot about Plan N versus Plan G as they're currently the most similar Medigap plans being offered to new enrollees, and even though these rate increases do tend to be smaller than those of Plan G, we're still noticing some increases for Plan N as well. Please be aware that your specific location plays a huge factor in your rate increases. States like Florida or California or New York are going to see very different rate increases than Texas or Louisiana or Mississippi. I mentioned earlier community rated and attained age plans. So let's talk a little bit about these types of plans and how that affects their pricing. There are generally three types of plans. So attained age plans are affected by your current age, which means as you get older, those plans tend to get more expensive. Usually these types of plans will see steeper rate increases. Then there are issue age plans. The price of these plans is directly affected by the age you are when you first enroll. So these plans will, generally speaking, see less dramatic rate increases. Then there are community rated plans, which are entirely different. It's not about your age, but the general community in which you live. So if you live in an area that tends to skew older or possibly less healthy, then you might see plans with higher rates. If you tend to live in an area that is a little bit younger, then you tend to see plans with lower premium rates. So when you see that $10, $20, or $30 increase in your premiums, it could be due to a variety of factors. For example, your age, medical inflation, poor claims performance in your state, or all of the above. Now for the big question. What can you do if you're seeing a significant premium increase? And this is where things get a little bit tricky with Medigap plans. So first, yes, you can shop around. Remember, Medigap enrollment is year-round, so you can enroll at any time. There's no specific enrollment period. However, in most states, if you enroll outside of that initial 6-month window when you have first turned 65 and enrolled in Part B, then you may be subject to medical underwriting. That means you'll need to answer questions about your health or possibly visit the doctor. This can affect your monthly premium greatly, and in some cases, you may even be denied outright. Now, because of this, many people assume that they're stuck with their Medigap plan forever. And that's not always the case. So if you are younger and healthier, but you are seeing a significant premium increase, then it's highly advisable that you at least take a look and see what your other options might be. For example, if you're healthy enough to pass medical underwriting, you could move from a plan that currently has a higher monthly premium for Plan G to another plan offering those same Plan G benefits at a more affordable rate. You may also want to consider switching to Plan N. As I mentioned earlier, we talk a lot about the pros and cons and similarities and differences of Plan N versus Plan G, and they are almost identical in the benefits that they offer. The key differences are that Plan G will cover those Part B excess charges and Plan N does not. Remember, these are not all that common and they're not even allowable in all states. And there can be some co-pays associated with Plan N. However, Plan N does often have lower monthly premiums, and right now we're seeing those premium rate increases at a less dramatic rate than Plan G. So if you're healthy enough to pass medical underwriting, or medical underwriting isn't required in your state, more on that in just a minute, then you might want to consider switching to Plan N. Now, if you're still on Plan F, you're probably seeing the most dramatic rate increases. Plan F does tend to increase at a more dramatic rate than other plans, especially as the pool of allowable beneficiaries is narrowing. So if you are on Plan F and you are able to pass medical underwriting to switch to a different plan, now's the time. As always, we highly recommend that you work with a licensed insurance broker. There are lots of ins and outs with regards to switching Medigap plans, and it's much easier to navigate the world of Medicare if you have an expert on your side. Now at iHealth Brokers, we are licensed health insurance brokers. We work for you, not the insurance carrier. So if you have any questions whatsoever, you can reach us in the comments below or at the number on the screen. We're licensed nationwide and there's no charge for our services. And we do release these types of videos on a weekly basis. There have actually been some pretty big changes in Medicare recently, so we highly recommend that you subscribe to stay up to date. And please make sure to like this video so we can get this information out there. All right, back to the tips and tricks. I'd also recommend that you be aware of your state's specific enrollment rules. Now, in most states, after you pass that initial 6-month window, then you may be subject to medical underwriting. However, certain states have anniversary rules or birthday rules or even year-round open enrollment. Now, there have been some recent very big changes to states adopting some of these more flexible enrollment rules. I actually have a video that goes more in depth. I will put that in the tag up here, and also I will link it at the end of today's video if you want to learn if your state is one of the states that has more flexible enrollment rules. Or who knows, maybe you're moving to one of those states to retire. Just something to think about. Sometimes, unfortunately, we don't think about these things until really it's too late. So if you think that your health or your age won't qualify you to pass medical underwriting and you're not in one of those states that has a more flexible or lenient enrollment policy, then there are still some things that you can do. For example, you may want to or may have to switch to a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare Advantage plans are actually a replacement for original Medicare. So they have to offer all of the same benefits, but sometimes they'll offer additional benefits to entice beneficiaries. Things like dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug. Sometimes they'll offer additional benefits like fitness or transportation. It really just depends upon the specifics of your plan. However, there are some major drawbacks to Medicare Advantage plans. Namely, you have to operate within a network. Yes, there are HMOs versus PPOs. However, there is always the issue of pre-authorization. That means that between you and your doctor and the service and treatment that they recommend stands your insurance carrier. They will have to pre-approve any services or treatments that your doctor recommends. This can be a major roadblock to accessing your health care. It can be lots of hoops to jump through, paperwork to submit, and delays. Now that being said, despite this, Medicare Advantage plans are often offered at no additional charge. You would simply need to continue to pay for your Part B monthly premium. Or even if they do have a monthly premium, usually it's rather low when compared to Medicare Supplement plans. Now, in all honesty, we don't ever feel that the quality of care that you're going to receive with a Medicare Advantage plan is equal to original Medicare plus Medicare Supplement plan. You just get so much more flexibility with a Medicare Supplement plan. However, if you are financially squeezed, then this is something that you should look into because there is no medical underwriting with Medicare Advantage plans. Again, work with a broker if this is the option you're going to pursue. You can also see if your specific carrier offers a lower tier plan that doesn't require medical underwriting. Some carriers will offer you basically to downgrade without any type of medical underwriting, and this could help you to save money and possibly preserve some of the flexibility offered by a Medicare Supplement plan. The bottom line is that Medicare Supplement Plan premium increases are a reality, but the system is designed to work with you somewhat if you know what you're doing. Before you accept another rate hike, take 30 minutes to speak with a licensed broker. Make sure to go over your health, your budget, and your goals. You may discover that you can save hundreds or even thousands of dollars over the next few years just by switching plans. If you're overwhelmed, please feel free to reach out to us directly in the comments below or at the number on the screen. As I said, we are licensed health insurance brokers and we're licensed nationwide. There's absolutely no charge for our services. Of course, if you want to learn more about some of those states that offer a more lenient Medicare supplement plan enrollment, make sure to check out this video over here for the specifics. I'll go much more in depth than in today's video. And of course, if you'd like to learn more about Medicare in general, we talked about those differences between Plan G and Plan N, make sure to check out our All About Medicare playlist. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. We'll see you next time.